So the last several videos I've put up, last three at least, people have asked, where's my kippah? Where's my yamaka? The head covering that Jewish people normally wear on their heads if they're Torah observant or traditional. Um, so a lot of people have asked, where's my kippah? Because of course, you can look in my past videos, I'm almost always wearing a kippah, head covering. So what happened? Well, not much really. My opinion hadn't really changed with regard to a kippah. In other words, I uh, I like wearing a kippah. I prefer to wear a kippah. Um, the situation which caused me to not wear a kippah in the first few times I didn't wear a kippah in my videos was due to the fact that I couldn't find my kippah because I moved around so much, and I for the last few years have generally been wearing like a ball cap, a baseball cap or something. And I just wear my kippah like when I go to the synagogue or when I'm teaching. So it's not always like on my head. Um, Pardon me if I'm like way below the camera's view. So what was it getting at? Yeah. So what happened was that for a long time I was wanting to make a video, but I kept delaying it because I couldn't find my kippah. And eventually I just decided that this is ridiculous. I've never thought that wearing a kippah is mandatory because it's not. Um, I've always viewed wearing a kippah as being a custom, albeit a strong custom and a meaningful custom in the Jewish faith among the Jewish people. But like, why should I not be making videos just because I've misplaced my kippah? That's stupid. And for it to hold me back is to give undue weight to that custom. Now, someone may say, oh, but it says in the Talmud that such and such rabbi wouldn't go 4 cubits without having his head covered. Yeah, it says that about a specific rabbi. It also talks about all sorts of other things that specific rabbis did that nobody does. And interestingly, neither the Shulchan Aruch nor the Mishneh Torah bring the concept of wearing a kippah as a mandatory obligation for your everyday Jewish person. And until fairly recently, the majority of Jews who lived in the Middle East did not cover their heads. You can still find photographs of some of the most major Jewish religious leaders in the last century who, in their childhood, as Torah observant individuals, not having their head covered, even in photographs. So, on the one hand, I came to the conclusion that it's just ridiculous to give that much weight to wearing a kippah that I'm not going to make videos. Um, and it would also be stupid to, even if I go ahead and order one, which I have since found my kippah, but it'd also be stupid to delay it until one comes in the mail. So I went ahead and made a video. But another ridiculous aspect of this is that Jewish law, actually, from the Mishnah, not just the Talmud, from the Mishnah already, it mandates that both married and unmarried women cover their hair. Now, and this was widely observed in every Jewish community, with only a handful of places where women were lenient and Jewish legal decisors, poskim, were aware that this was a leniency. Um, all over the world, Jews were doing this, that Jewish women would cover their hair. But for many, many decades, perhaps even centuries throughout Europe, unmarried women wouldn't cover their hair, although it's explicitly mandated in the Mishnah, and also indicated throughout the Tanakh, but obviously not mandated in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible. But if we have a law mandating something, and it's basically not only ignored, I mean, it's unknown practically through most of the Jewish world. We have that on the one hand, that non-married women's covering their hair is basically unknown and And if you even mention it, it's reviled. It's like, well, can you hear all the locusts, the cicadas, however you call them, however you call them. So on the one hand, you have that, which is completely ignored and downplayed, and I'm all for taking a more lenient view. But then when it comes to a a regular Jewish person covering their head, it's not mandated anywhere, and we make such a big deal about it. I think our priorities are off. Yeah, there is actually in halacha um, a requirement for a Talmid Hacham, a Torah scholar, to cover his head. That is correct. But I know that the majority of people do not consider me a Torah scholar, and the obligations upon a Torah scholar go beyond just them covering their head. There are all sorts of things, like they're not to wear short sleeve shirts, their sleeves are to reach to their knuckles. Some people even have the opinion that it's to reach basically to the tips of their fingers. Should I do that as well? Like, it's just absurd. Um, so I preferred to wear a kippah, but I didn't have it. I could have covered my head with a, a baseball cap or whatever that I did have on hand, but the angle of the sun put a big shadow on my face, so I thought it was stupid. So it would look better without it, so I wore nothing. Big deal. And I'm not saying this because I feel guilty and I feel like I need to justify it. I'm saying all this to educate people. And I was well aware that these questions would arise, which simply would give occasion for new video topics. But since making those first two videos, as I said, I found my kippah, and but then after trying to justify it in my mind to go ahead and make the video without a kippah on, I also came to the conclusion or realization that, when I'm making videos for such a broad audience, and most of my viewers are not even Jewish, or they're interested in Judaism, but perhaps not sure if it's for them, I think it's best to give as few obstacles um, to their understanding or listening to the content of my words. And I hear an egret in the background. And adding unnecessary distractions in the video just takes away from the focus that they should give to the words and the concepts that I'm trying to convey. And I think that is related to the halacha, the Jewish law, concerning a Israelite who is going to be an ambassador or a representative of the Jewish people before non-Jewish governments. So for such an individual, it says that he can shave his beard, which regards a Torah prohibition. And here we're talking about something that's not even a rabbinic prohibition, but simply a custom. So if that was reason enough to shave your beard in order to not be distracting or have a negative, some kind of negative influence on the non-Jewish audience's perception of you in a non-Jewish court, then how much more so with regard to a kippah? So I think that for the remainder of my videos, I'm not going to wear a kippah, specifically because I'm making these videos for a broader audience. And if I make videos much more specifically related to Jewish law, and I have a kippah on hand, and I'm talking about Jewish law that's very specific and that only somebody who's already really into Judaism will be concerned about, then I might wear a kippah. But if it's something very broad that I really want to appeal to a broader audience, yeah, I think it's actually best that I don't wear a kippah. And this is my understanding. I mean, I'm not at all opposed to people being more strict upon themselves. I just think we should be hesitant to impose our own stringencies upon others. But that doesn't mean that discussion and disagreement is bad, as long as we can share ideas civilly. And I look forward to seeing our civil discussions about this matter in the comments below. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. Share and subscribe. Shalom uvracha. Yalla bye.